Good evening and welcome to Elland Road. It's Matchday live under the lights this Tuesday evening. Leeds United taking on Watford, just 3 places below us after that win on Friday night against Yorkshire rivals Sheffield United. Watford just, like I say, 3 points below, but Leeds come into this off the back of that win and 5 now undefeated in the league. This game is available outside the UK and Ireland. Head to the LUTV website to get your match pass. What a night in store, and what a couple of guests to share it with as well. Joining us this evening, Michael Bridges and Stuart Dallas. Great to have you both there. Stuart, always a pleasure to have. Sorry, not that it's not always a pleasure. You're just a regular. We're used to it.
It's great to have him back. Did a show early on in the season. Absolutely fantastic. That was your debut. You're back again.
That was my debut. You guys make it easier for me, obviously.
We won as well, didn't we?
Thanks for having me back. Yeah.
It's good to have him.
Absolute pleasure. Well, Leeds come into this, of course, like we say, after that win on Friday night, which we all enjoyed. I know you were here as well, Stu, watching that game. How impressed were you at that performance on Friday night?
Yeah, very impressed. I think it was a big game. I think there was obviously a lot of emotion in the game as well. There always is when it's a derby, and they started the game really well. Sheffield United were they were probably the better team, to be fair, the opening 10 minutes, and then Leeds come into it a lot more and took over. It was always going to be one of those games where Sheffield United, they haven't conceded a lot of goals, so it was always going to be one of those where it would take time to break them down. But I thought on the night Leeds were brilliant. If I'm being totally honest, I think that's the best personally that I think I've seen them playing this season.
It was lovely after the game as well. Wilder, their manager, massive credit to Leeds United's performance. The toughest side that we've played this season. So you get a lot of managers would try and sugarcoat it and not give credit to the opposition. He did, and you've got to respect that, because, like Stewie said, after the first 10-15 minutes we just dominated, and it was definitely up there as the best, if not one of the best performances.
Yeah, and Sheffield United were on that roll, like we said, of those 6 clean sheets in a row. When you're coming up against a team like that, from a defensive point of view, if you're in a team who are on a run like that, Stuart, they come into it full of confidence that they'll go and do it again. But Leeds really, once they got going, took them apart. Yeah,
they did. I think a Chris Wilder Sheffield United team is always a hard team to play against. They're always a hard team to break down. They set up with a back 5. And you could clearly see it, that when Leeds had the ball, they were just coming into like a 5-3-2 formation, and it was difficult to break down. But Leeds were patient, and the good thing is they're creating chances as well, and obviously they're taking them chances now, whereas I think we've been a bit critical before, where they haven't taken the chances when they come along, and they scored 2 great goals.
Yeah, in terms of that match, us as fans now watching it, we like to sort of look up, it was a great match, but from a team point of view, that's done and dusted. The 3 points they got, which is great. It's all about tonight's match. It's all about, presumably, going out there and backing it up now.
That's exactly it, Rich. You've got to go and back it up, and hopefully that performance then showcased where we are against a Sheffield United team. Stewie said, full of quality under a very good manager that have got a clean sheet mentality, and they've probably come up against the strongest team in the division with offensive players. And we brought them down. So tonight, very similar. Watford, their away form is absolutely terrible this season. I think they've got 3 points on the board. So I'm hoping that trend continues. And like you say, it's about the mentality and the focus of the players now for Leeds United. Going out again, under floodlights once again at Elland Road, and going out and backing up to make it 6 points out of the last 2 matches, which would be magnificent.
Yeah, we can see the players getting ready there. And Stu, when you're out there as a player at this point, you're doing your warm-up, you're seeing the stadium fill up. It must just be a fantastic feeling for those players getting ready for another big night under the lights.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, there's no better place to play. I know we all say it, no matter what club you play at, but Elland Road under the lights is a special place. The place it'll be sell out tonight again, and the players will be relishing that. They're full of confidence, and rightly so. But this is a huge game. I think if they can back up that win at the weekend with another win here tonight, it'll be another big statement from them.
How did you focus before the game, Stu? Did you have a routine before you went out? Because I used to get butterflies coming down the tunnel, and then it's obviously in the warm up as well, a little bit of nerves. But as soon as the game started, my mindset, I'd lost all that feeling.
I was quite similar, to be fair. I think in the warm up and that beforehand, I think it's good to have nerves. It shows that you care. So I was always a bit nervous, and in the warm up, just trying to get my boundaries and take things in. But as you say, once you start, and especially when you get your first touch and stuff, then you just forget about everything.
A couple of times if you'd go and do the shooting practice before the kick-off, and I'd had a nightmare. I didn't hit the target this whole, and I went in there with a really bad mindset back in the dressing room, and actually had one of the best performances that I wore in a Leeds United shirt at home. So it's weird, like you think it's going to affect you going in from having a bad warm-up. Actually, it's how you go across when that whistle blows. Doesn't matter what happens beforehand, it's about that moment. And at Elland Road, there's no better feeling when you come away with 3 points.
It's funny you mention that, about particularly from a striker's point of view, because fans out there, and I'm from that situation, are always watching the strikers to see if they look like they're in good nick. And you're going, let's hope he's getting his stinkers out the way before the game starts.
Sometimes you pick off the top corner regularly in the warm-up, and then you couldn't hit a barn door in the game.
I'd have been, to be fair, I'd always have been the same. If I'd have been playing left back, I'd always had Coops. If he was playing left centre back, I'd have went out to the far side of the pitch to the position I'd have been playing, and just got Coops to wrap balls into me so I could open up on my left foot, just to get used to it, because the last thing you want is starting the game and rolling a ball to you and it going over your foot. So
it's the last thing everyone wants. Let's be honest about it, fans and players alike. Looking at the team news for tonight, it is the same team that took to the field against Sheffield United on Friday night. You don't change a winning team, is it as simple as that?
You don't change a winning team as long as the fitness levels are there, the players are 100%. I think we had a lovely chat with Joe Roden after the game about the preparation, what it was going to take to go into this next game with a short window. He explained about the ice baths, what the lads go through. So that, as long as everybody has got their levels, they're ready to go again. You can't change that formula, because I've got to say Rothwell and Tanaka in the midfield. The stats, the distribution stats, the way the two balance off each other when you think Gruev and Ampadu are out, absolutely magnificent. So they've made a problem for the manager now when everybody's fit, and that's what it's about. It's about healthy competition, and we've got that in abundance.
Stu, give us an idea, because you mentioned there Joe, who we spoke to after the match. He was going for his ice bath, and we're like, rather you than us. How do you turn it around? What's the preparation then? So they're finished Friday night, it's going to be late, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we're here on Tuesday, and we're playing again. Give us an idea of what the players will have been going through.
Well, it's usually a bit different because of the Friday night game. Obviously you have an extra day, but they'd have been in obviously for recovery on the Saturday, and listen, they have the best of the best at the club, in terms of what they need for recovery. They have a good sports science department at the club, a good physio department, so they've been well looked after nutrition wise as well. Have all their ice baths. So Saturday they've been in. The players who had played will obviously done a cool down. The players who didn't play will have they'll be top up a good session. Sunday I suspect they'd have been probably off, and then yesterday they'd have just been going through their usual pre-match shape and stuff like that, getting the legs going again, and
the tactical video session as well.
Yeah, they'll have video sessions. Obviously they'll have touched on the game going past, but with the quick turnaround you haven't time to sort of delve into too much. You've got to look at Watford. So I've looked at them, and they'll have prepared yesterday, doing a bit of shape, nothing too major, and ready for tonight.
Stewie would have had more of an insight if he'd still been in the WhatsApp group.
I've been chucked out. As I said before, I was the founder of it, and I'm gone now. So.
You found it as well. Things have got a bit awkward in the studio. Let's move on from that. There are 3 birthdays at Leeds United today, worth mentioning. Paul Reaney, Leeds United legend, turned 80 today.
80, isn't he? Yeah.
Joe Rodon, who we've mentioned as well, and a 3rd birthday boy also in tonight's team, who's chatting to Brynlaw.
Well, Brendan, we've got to say happy birthday first of all. It would be a good way to celebrate, would it not? Have a good night here at Elland Road.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would make my birthday amazing. But yeah, I mean, I know we're going to go out there and do our thing today, and I'm really, really excited to get out there.
Great performance in the last game here at Elland Road. Can you pick that up and carry on with it this evening?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're in a flow right now. I think that we've been playing really good at the moment. Some results in the past haven't gone our way, but I'm really confident in the team and the way that we're playing at the moment, so we just got to keep the flow going and just keep winning games, keep getting points.
Fans enjoyed Friday night. Yeah. Can they help again this evening?
For sure. It's always, they're like our 25th player, 26th player, so it means a lot to us when they're out there and they're supporting us and giving us a lot of confidence. So yeah, they're going to give us a lot today.
And Watford's away form has not been great. Do you look at that or do you ignore that?
No, I ignore that because, I think that they're going to be up for a night at Elland Road against us, and we just got to be focused and ready for whatever comes.
Yeah, it's birthdays galore. Let's hope it's celebrations by the time we get to the end of tonight's match. Let's take a look at that Sheffield United game. And I'll tell you what was interesting. I was reading the programme notes today from manager Daniel Farke. We'll hear from him soon as well. He used the words brave and smart to describe that win on Friday night. Does that sound about right for you?
Yeah, I think smart for the fact that the players listened to the analysis that they were given. Smart that the way they stuck by the game plan and executed it magnificently. I thought offensively, I've got no problems with Leeds United. I think we've got an array of talent going forward with pace. We've got players that can change games. Defensively, I think that's where I was so impressed. The clean sheet against, we talked about it before the game, Elland the Giants, their set plays, they could have been so dangerous, Sheffield United. We handled it, and Joe Rodon was magnificent against Kiefer Moore. So, like you said, he would have learned a lot from his players and the characters from that result, and I think that's why he was so beaming after the game, Daniel Farke.
Yeah, let's take a look at the action from Friday night, because really it was great. I mean, Stu, talk us through this. Pascal Strike with an absolutely fantastic connection there, and a goal from a corner, which we haven't seen maybe as often as we might like.
Yeah, obviously it's been a long time. I think the last time we scored a corner, I was probably still playing, but you guys have said it was a well-worked goal. I think obviously Pascal, you see the run he's trying to make, whether he's meant it or not, I'm not so sure, but I think, you know, it's poor defending as well, but it's a great finish because it's bouncing for Pascal, so he's done well to keep it down. And to be fair, it's skid off the surface. I think you see it here.
I mean, like you say, that is defendable. I think when Sheffield United look back, there's no doubt about what Stuart said there. That finish is absolutely magnificent. The way it skids off the surface, but the player, I can't think who it is for near post there for Sheffield United. When they look back at this, and they'll be doing the analysis session, the accountability shown in him, it can be cleared. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about how good the finish is, you know. And Rothwell, I think what we've relaxed since Sam Greenwood left was somebody that can actually get a delivery going from set plays. And then the second goal, from a striker's point of view, I just think Mateo Joseph, the way he shows strength, the timing of the run, and the way that he's actually off balance when he scores it, just thought it was magnificent impact substitution.
Yeah, and one of the things we were hearing from Brendan about, you know, it's the full squad. And maybe we'll see substitutions tonight, of course, coming on, maybe even a little bit earlier because they've got the quick games in succession. But there you see, you know, Joel Piroux coming on and he feeds. Joel Piroux on the pitch, Mateo Joseph comes on, he feeds him for a goal. We've seen it the other way round as well. Players making impact when they're coming on like Mateo Joseph did there.
Yeah, and I think the manager's got to get credit for that as well. You know, he's taken Mateo out of the team for the past 2 games, and that's probably been, he's looked after him really well. He's come on, Mateo, now with a point to prove, and that's a great finish. You see it's a great ball from Joel, and then he does so well to hold the defender off. He's a strong boy, Mateo. He's worked really hard on his physical side of the game, and you know, it's paid off there.
What I love there, I know it's you could see he's holding a lad's shirt and he's got him, but there's a lot of players these days don't tend to use their hands. I see them as like I used to be told they're like your extra pair of eyes. You know, feel where the defender is, so you know exactly where you can shield them off. Mark Viduka was the best at it. You couldn't get near him. He would turn you, and he also, if I know where Stu is and I'm there, I know I've got to turn him that way because it's so. Mateo Joseph showed there just absolute experience, and he had the quality to finish as well.
And the timing of the run as well. Sorry, when you see it, he could easily have strayed offside, but the timing of the run's perfect, and the ball's obviously pinpoint as well.
The big kind of discussion after the match was where the Man of the Match award was going to go, and for most people it was pretty much split down the middle. Is it going to be Al Tanaka? Is it going to be Joe Rothwell? The only thing that really matters is they both had fantastic games in the end, and we of course have this midfield injury issue at the moment, but 2 players coming in and stepping up to the plate, you couldn't have asked for more, really.
Yeah, I like the balance. I mean, I loved it when we have Gruev. He's got the energy levels, he's got the small distribution passes. Ethan Ampadu breaks down all the attacks and gets us ticking away when we play through. What I do like though with Tanaka and Rothwell's got a distribution like a quarterback, so he can switch play. He might not be as dynamic as Gruev, but he's got that distribution. Then Tanaka, he might as well have played 11 positions. He was absolutely incredible. So we know Gruev can run, but this guy's energy levels were through the roof. So I like the balance that we had in midfield. Yeah,
for sure. I think we see us now. We're a bit more progressive with these 2 in midfield. You know, we're playing forward quicker. Obviously, we know Gruev and Ampadu. We know what job they can do in there, and they've been fantastic. This just gives the manager a headache. It's a good headache to have, to be honest. It's good. I know Tanaka got man of the match, but I thought Rothwell was outstanding. I thought he was brilliant. He slows the game down when he wants. He speeds it up when he wants. You know, his passing, everything about it. I thought he was lovely. I thought he was tremendous. Obviously, Tanaka was outstanding, but my man of the match
I
would
went
have been
I went
Rothwell,
Rothwell as well.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I don't want to
What about you, Rich?
re-emerge the debate. No one cares my opinion, guys. That's why you're here to give yours. That's the main thing. Okay. Let's get the thoughts of two people very much in the know who'll be giving you your commentary tonight. Remember, this game available outside the UK and Ireland. Head to the LUTV website to get your match day pass. Let's get the thoughts of our commentary team, Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo.
Well, we can talk about the Leeds United team to begin with. Pretty straightforward. I think, as expected, really, Leeds go with the same starting 11.
And why not? Yeah, I think Daniel Farke clearly has a lot of confidence in the boys. They played extremely well, and it's a case of, right, on you go. But I expect tonight, certainly from the substitutes bench, that's going to be important, because there's no doubt they have to have a few tired legs there from some of the boys. So depending on how they go, I can see that being used probably a little bit earlier than maybe normal.
And of course, the aim of the exercise, I guess, will be to pick up where they left off on Friday evening, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, because they were brilliant. As a 90-minute performance, probably one of the best against a good side, but we didn't allow them to play. Not even one shot on target did Sheffield United have. But we controlled the game really well, scored a couple of goals. Like to maybe take even more chances and that conversion rate up, but everything about the performance was good. But this game is equally important, and that's, I just hope that everyone understands that. It's going to be difficult, but it is really important.
There's that phrase, after the Lord Mayor's show. You have to avoid that situation, don't you, in this one? Make sure you do the job.
You do, but I'm sure Daniel has been in the situation many, many times with his teams, and he'll be drilling that into the players in that, what's the point of winning that one if you go and lose this one? So I don't expect that. I expect the boys to go out there and give a really good performance.
I mean, Watford have been shipping goals for fun away from home. They're very good at home, not very good away from home. So there's an opportunity perhaps that lies in front of Leeds tonight, doesn't it?
It could be if we start well and get that first goal, but you just got to be wary. They're only 3 points behind us, Watford, so clearly they're still a very good side. They've beaten Sunderland, and we couldn't quite manage that. You're right, away from home they've struggled, but let's make sure we make them struggle again.
Let's make sure indeed. We shall see. All the action to come a little later.
Yeah, not long now until the action gets underway. Less than 15 minutes, you can probably see behind us. Elland Road is filling and getting ready. The music's pumping and the atmosphere is building, of course. Let's take a look at tonight's opponents in Watford. As you alluded to, there's only 3 points between us and them at the moment, although they sit down in 8th position. Well, it is incredible because it just goes to show you the power of wins, doesn't it? We've drawn a few games. Actually, they've lost 4 on the road, and they're only 3 points behind us, because when they have played, if it's either kind of been wins or defeats. So they'll look at that and think, well, forget the away form coming into this. Let's try and get there and get level pegging with Leeds.
I'd rather be playing them away than I would be at their place, because, like you say, their stats: 1 win this season, 3 points. But I mean, Stu brought it up before, and we were having a chat, going, they're 3 points behind Leeds, and I had to scratch my head. But that shows how good they have been at home. And like you say, them draws. So it's not going to be. We've got to make sure we're switched on.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. I expect them to come here and I don't expect them to go and attack Leeds. If I'm honest, I think they'll come in and they'll sit in a back five, similar to probably what Sheffield United done. Because when you're on a run of losing games away from home, you've got to get a base, a foundation, and that can possibly come. They've got to stop conceding, and that they'll come here tonight, and because they know if they open up with this Leeds team here at home, especially, and the quality that they have, it could be a long night for them. So I think they'll come in, they'll try and be hard to beat, and with their formation, the way they play, they'll expect their wing backs to get them higher up the pitch, later on in the game.
How much do players and as a team in general look at the game from the season before, even though there's different personnel on both teams, but they think, we went there last year and we lost 3-0, and actually in that second half got a bit of a spanking in the end once Leeds eventually broke them down. Is that ever at the back of players' minds, or is it just, it's just another game?
No, for me, I can only speak for myself. That personally wouldn't have affected me. If anything, it would have made me go the other way and make me want to go and get one back. So for me, I don't think that. Maybe some players it does, but certainly for me it was more
a similar mindset as Stu. I wanted to go and rectify what I'd done wrong, or rectify the loss. But you always remember the good games you had, because the team you scored against, you're like, I can't wait to play them again. Yeah. That's the flip side.
For sure, it might be for the fans. They might think, geez, we're going to Leeds tonight, and it could be a long night again. But certainly as a player, I don't think it's.
Well, you mentioned that 3-0 win last year. The last 2 matches they've been done 3-0 away from home, and the match prior that was 4-1. So they've all been 3-0 or 3-goal deficits in between. So I'm hoping that trend continues.
I'm going for a prediction, but not yet.
No. But last time out the 3-0, I thought with our performance, the way we handle, like Stu said, the defensive shape that they had. Once you break that down, then the problem comes. They've got to come out and play, which exploits more space, hence why we went out to get more goals against them last time.
Even though it's not going to affect anything tonight, and they've made it very clear here, Stuart and Bridgie, let's take a look at it anyway, because there was some great stuff here. I mean, Piri with the first to get things rolling, and then once it did get rolling, it was a heck of a 45 minutes from Leeds.
Certainly was, and that's why I think tonight it's so important that we get off to a very, very good start. And that might sound so boring and so, you've always got to start well. We need to make sure that we're actually on the front foot and get an early goal, because like you say, the longer the game goes on, the more frustrating this team could actually make it for us.
Goal from a corner.
And a goal from a corner. Sammy Byram, unbelievable. I mean, it's a long time since we've seen one of them, isn't it, since Pascal? But even to see Sammy Byram score as well. But it was just a very, very good performance. Like you say, I think it's very key that we get off to a good start and an early goal.
And certainly by the time the third goal was going in, there was Ole's going up around the crowd, and the players were really enjoying themselves. I mean, Jorginho here with just an outrageous bit of skill, isn't it?
It's like a Maradona, isn't he?
Yeah, that's where Georgie was best at, wasn't it? When the game opened up and stuff, he was able to show what he was all about. But I think going back to tonight, I think it's important that Leeds, as you said, Bridgie, that they start really well. But I think looking at what Leeds have been good at home is the ball and play. I think the weekend, Sheffield United, I think the highest was 59 minutes. And I think that's important for Leeds, because teams will come here, they'll try and disrupt it, and they'll look to manage the game and have as many breaks in play so Leeds can't get into their rhythm. And I think it's important that Leeds don't give them that opportunity tonight to do that. Okay, let's get the thoughts of the Leeds United manager Daniel Farke ahead of tonight's crucial match.
They are both absolutely tidy on the ball, and they have lots of imagination and creativity in going forward, and also breaking the lines of the opponent with their passes, or sometimes also like Joe did a lot in the last game, to drive the ball forward out of deeper position, or bring themselves into positions where they can perhaps play the finishing pass, or to be there with the finish themselves. So we want to support this. So I like to play players more like in their best position, also to use their strength instead of focusing too much on what they're not capable to do, and try to improve this. But of course, if you play in the center of the game, to have a fitness level that is also then capable of covering ground, of doing the defensive work, of being good also in the transition moments, also once the opponent wins the ball, then to come back quick enough. This is something we have to work on, and especially for RO, his first steps in English football. Joe came out of more or less 2 seasons where he rarely played 90 minutes. He also needs a few games in order to gain his match fitness and his rhythm. I think it's a connection. Once we are playing well, they are even more excited, but also the other way around. So it's important then, when we have perhaps even not our best spell or difficult spell, they need to be there and help us a little bit, because I think when you have a perfect unity between team supporters, then you can be successful in this club. And when it's all a bit scruffy and it's a bit against each other, so we had also difficult moments in the last couple of years, then it's for no one really exciting, and also a bit difficult. Sometimes we also have to make sure that we're not overexcited, and I know this is also sometimes a bit tricky when you play in front of such a unbelievable crowd, and everyone is excited, and it feels like the stadium is exploding. Then to stay smart and not to overdo it with the passes, and to play and to go each every time for the most risky pass, and you have to make sure that you don't end up in a transition game like in basketball, and you give the ball too much away. So sometimes you have to be a bit careful and over not to be overdriven by the emotions. So you also speak about this topic, but in general, so to hold the pressure high. It's not like just with the pace of the ball, the pace of the passes, and the tempo of the game, but also in terms of the atmosphere, because it's also what can impress opponents, and we definitely need this. It's just important that the players don't overdo it. So our supporters can overdo it and go mental and go crazy, and that's also okay. They can also rely on that we stay cool when it's needed, and stay smart. And if my young players are sometimes overdoing it, I calm them down. We have a great connection at the moment, and hopefully it continues.
Stego, the thoughts of Daniel Farke. I just wanted to ask you that one of the things he pointed out there was about the fans and the relationship between the players and the fans, and that working in harmony. So obviously we get excited when it's going well. Sometimes it's a little bit more frustrating and staying with the team. What is it like, your experience of playing in front of what must be one of the most expectant fan bases in the country? We know we're demanding. What's it like playing in front of it?
Yeah, I relished it, to be honest with you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pressure of playing for a club of this size, and I enjoyed the pressure, especially in the Championship, of having to win pretty much every week. So I think some players relish it. It takes a special type of player to play at this club, and but yeah, the fans are fantastic. They really are the 12th man here, and I know we always, people do say that, but I genuinely believe that here. An opposition player can't enjoy coming here when the fans are right up for it. So I expect them to be on it tonight.
See what Stuart's saying there though about being relishing it and taking it, embracing it. We loved entertaining, and when you entertain these fans, there's two ways you can do it. You can do it with a bit of flair, bit of quality, or you can do it like David Batty and Lucas, where you just put in that extra.
Well, mine certainly wasn't flair either. No,
let's just very quickly get a score prediction from both of you. How it's going to go tonight, Bridget?
I'm going 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
I was going to say the same. So
Well,
that's fine. I'll stick with 3-0 as well.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll take that quite happily. Huge one tonight, isn't it? Leeds United taking on Watford. We've seen some yellow bucket hats in the crowd already. Don't know whether Bryn and Tony are wearing those at the moment, but the players are lining up and ready to go. We'll hand you over to our commentary team this evening.
Thanks, guys. All the build-up is now complete, and we're just about ready for the start of another Championship fixture here at Elland Road. Friday night was Sheffield United. Friday night was an excellent performance. Friday night was a big win, but that all counts for nothing. Championship means you start all over again and have to do it all over again to make